You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange pressure in your chest that won't let you rest. That quiet pull that whispers something is shifting, something is about to change, and you can't ignore it any longer. You keep telling yourself it's just anxiety or overthinking, or maybe you're just tired, but deep down your spirit knows the truth. This is not random. This is heaven calling you. You've been standing still for too long, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, the perfect certainty before you move. But what if I told you that the sign you've been waiting for is the unease you feel right now? What if the silence you've mistaken for delay has been God's gentle way of saying, move before tomorrow? You see, there's a sacred urgency moving through your spirit, and you can't keep silencing it with excuses or fear. The reason you feel stuck is not because God has forgotten you, but because you've been trying to hold on to a version of yourself that heaven is ready to outgrow. The friends who've drifted away, the plans that collapsed, the passion that faded, all of it has been divine disruption. God has been clearing the noise, removing distractions, and making space for something you can't yet see. And I know it hurts to let go. It hurts to wake up one day and realize the things that once made you feel safe now make you feel small. But this is what transformation feels like in real time. It's messy, it's confusing, and it often begins with heartbreak. You've been walking through nights that feel endless, asking heaven, why me? Why now? Why does it feel like I'm losing everything? But child, you are not losing. You are being moved. What looks like loss from where you stand is actually protection from where heaven sees. Every door that closed wasn't rejection, it was direction. You prayed for growth, and growth rarely happens in comfort. You asked for purpose, and purpose rarely comes without pain. You've been waiting for God to move, while God has been waiting for you to trust Him enough to step into what's next. Maybe that's why everything around you has started to feel tight, heavy, unfamiliar. The places that once gave you peace now drain you. The conversations that once felt alive now feel hollow. You're not crazy, you're just outgrowing your old season. Heaven is whispering, it's time. But you keep looking for reassurance when all you really need is obedience. You keep saying, God, I'll move when I feel ready. But faith doesn't wait for readiness. It creates it. The truth is, if you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. There's no such thing as ready. When you're being called to step into destiny, you have to move scared, move unsure, move trembling, but move anyway. Because the moment you do, heaven meets you halfway. There are seasons when waiting is wisdom, but there are also seasons when waiting becomes disobedience, and you, my friend, have reached that crossroad. You've been praying for confirmation, but heaven already sent it. It came in the form of restlessness, closed doors, inner stirring, and divine discomfort. God's not going to repeat Himself forever. There's a window open right now, a divine window of alignment. And if you don't step through it, you'll look back months from now realizing you missed something heaven had already prepared. The voice that's been nudging you isn't there to torment you. It's there to lead you. That feeling that something is about to shift isn't paranoia. It's prophecy. You've been sensing it for a reason. The world may not see it yet, but you're standing on the edge of becoming everything heaven created you to be. Don't let fear keep you tied to where God has already left. The longer you stay still, the heavier the call becomes. There's a reason peace hasn't returned. It's because you're standing in a place your spirit has already departed from. And maybe you've been mistaking the comfort of familiarity for safety, but what you think is safety is actually slow suffocation. You can't keep breathing yesterday's air and expect tomorrow's blessing to find you. Heaven is saying, you can't build the future with the tools of the past. It's time to move. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, but now. You were not created to sit in waiting rooms forever. You were created to walk by faith, even when your knees shake and your heart races. The path may look dark, but light will meet you as you move. Every chosen one reaches this moment, this divine intersection between comfort and calling, and most freeze because they think they're not ready, but you are. The very fact that your heart feels this pull, this urgency, this divine warning, is proof that the time has come. Heaven doesn't stir without purpose. If you're hearing this, it's because God has seen the next chapter waiting for you, and He's trying to pull you toward it before the clock strikes tomorrow. The question isn't whether God will guide you, it's whether you'll trust Him enough to take the first step. You've been holding your breath, waiting for the right sign, but deep inside, your soul already knows what it must do. You've just been afraid of what obedience might cost you. You see, God never promised that the path would be easy. He promised it would be worth it. Every time you felt the nudge to move but stayed still, the weight on your chest grew heavier, didn't it? That's because heaven doesn't allow chosen souls to stay comfortable in places meant for their old selves. You've been trying to bloom in soil that's already dry, trying to revive connections that no longer carry your frequency, trying to breathe in atmospheres that no longer match your spirit. And no matter how hard you try to make it feel right, again, it just doesn't fit. That's not failure, that's divine signaling. God isn't punishing you by removing what you loved. He's positioning you by forcing you to release what's been keeping you small. Have you noticed how restlessness often shows up right before a major shift? How peace leaves you when you're staying too long where you were never meant to remain? That's because divine timing doesn't wait for emotional convenience. Heaven shakes everything that keeps you tied to the shore until the only thing left is your willingness to walk on water. Maybe that's what this whole season has been about. Not punishment, but preparation. You've been asking God for a breakthrough, but breakthroughs don't happen in stillness. They happen in motion. When you take one step in faith, heaven takes 10 toward you. But too often, fear keeps us standing at the edge, waiting for the wind to stop, not realizing that faith is only born in the storm. Think about it. Peter only learned he could walk on water when he dared to step out of the boat. You're in that exact moment now. The boat feels safe, but it's not sacred anymore. You've outgrown it. The waters may be rough, but that's where God is waiting to meet you. Don't you see? The waves aren't meant to drown you. They're meant to teach you how to trust when logic fails. And yes, fear will whisper its lies. It'll tell you that you're not ready, not equipped, not strong enough. But faith doesn't need perfect conditions. It needs surrender. You're not waiting on God anymore. He's waiting on you to believe Him. Have you wondered why life has been shaking lately? Why the plans you tried to secure keep unraveling? Why the things that once made sense now feel meaningless? Because heaven has been trying to uproot your obedience from comfort. The storm isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to redirect you. Every disruption is a divine GPS recalibrating your path. You asked for guidance, and this chaos you're experiencing is the answer. God often speaks in earthquakes when gentle whispers go ignored. The breakdown you thought was the end was actually heaven's way of moving you before time ran out. That's why some doors closed even when you prayed for them to stay open. That's why people walked away right when you thought they'd stay forever, because their part in your story was done, and keeping them longer would have delayed your destiny. Sometimes love means letting go before holding on destroys you. Sometimes obedience means walking away without closure. And yes, it hurts. It feels unfair, confusing, lonely. But the pain is proof of transformation. Heaven never removes something without replacing it with better. You just have to walk far enough to reach it. God is not asking you to understand. the whole path, only to trust the next step. Every time you hesitate, you delay what's already prepared. There's an appointed moment in destiny that only opens when you move. The opportunity waiting for you is not eternal, it's timely. This is why the urgency in your spirit has grown louder lately, because divine doors don't stay open forever. You can't afford to keep saying someday. Heaven's timeline is now. Every second you spend doubting is a second the enemy uses to distract you. You've already wasted too much time waiting for certainty. Faith is not the absence of fear. It's moving despite it. You'll never feel fully ready, but if you take that step, you'll realize heaven already placed the ground beneath your feet before you moved. The truth is, delay is dangerous, not because God stops loving you, but because purpose has windows, and not all of them reopen. That's why the spirit inside you has been whispering louder, stronger, more urgently. It's not to scare you, it's to awaken you. Heaven sees something coming you cannot see. There's a storm rising, a shift approaching, and you've been chosen to move before it breaks. That business idea, that move, that forgiveness, that leap, it's not random, it's required. This is your moment of decision. Stay in the safety of the familiar or step into the uncertainty of faith. But remember, uncertainty is where miracles are born. You've been praying for a sign. This is it. You've been asking for clarity. This is it. Heaven is saying, go, move, step. Don't wait another sunrise to decide, because tomorrow might look different. Not because God changes, but because divine timing shifts. The doors that are open today may not be open next season. The people who are meant to walk with you now might not be there if you delay. The help you've been promised might only appear when you start walking. This is your call to action, your spiritual wake-up call. You are not meant to keep sitting in circles of contemplation while heaven is calling you to build something new. The time for overthinking has ended. The season of movement has begun. And deep down, you know it. You can feel it. The same way the earth feels rain before it falls. You can sense something holy pressing against your chest, whispering, go, before it's too late. And now it all starts to make sense, doesn't it? Every delay, every heartbreak, every unanswered prayer, it wasn't punishment, it was protection. You see, heaven was never trying to break you down, it was trying to break you open. Every moment you thought was wasted was actually divine timing, aligning things you couldn't see. You kept asking, God, why did you take that from me? And heaven kept whispering, because it couldn't go where I'm taking you. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like silence was sacred strategy. God wasn't ignoring you, He was preparing you. The reason it hurt so much is because the old version of you had to die for the new one to live. You can't carry the weight of your old wounds into the next chapter of your destiny. You can't build with bricks made of fear. The waiting season wasn't empty. It was the womb of transformation. You were being restructured from the inside out. Every fear exposed, every false belief shattered, every attachment tested. You thought you were being buried, but heaven was planting you, and now the soil is shifting. The light is breaking through. Everything that once felt like loss is about to make sense. Every person who left cleared the space for divine connection. Every no paved the way for a bigger yes. Every tear watered the seeds of what you're about to walk into. This is the moment where the story turns. The moment you realize that the same God who allowed the storm is the one who taught you how to walk through it without drowning. Nothing was wasted. Not the sleepless nights, not the confusion, not the waiting. Every second was shaping the strength you now carry. Heaven was never late. It was waiting for you to be ready to move. And now, it's time. This is your confirmation that the waiting season has expired. the assignments you've been sitting on, the ideas you've been postponing, the forgiveness you've been withholding. This is your moment to release it all and move. There's something about divine momentum. Once you align with it, doors open effortlessly. Opportunities that were invisible begin to appear. People you've never met start showing up with the resources you need. That's what happens when obedience meets timing. The fear that held you back begins to dissolve because purpose replaces panic. You stop wondering, what if, and start living, why not? Because now you understand that God's warning wasn't a threat. It was love. Heaven saw the timeline ahead, saw the danger of delay, saw the blessing positioned just beyond your hesitation, and called out to you in urgency. Move before tomorrow. And when you finally do, when you stop running from the call and start walking toward it, peace will flood your spirit like never before. The same silence that once terrified you will become the sound of trust. The same uncertainty that once froze you will become the place where miracles unfold. Because faith was never about seeing the full path. It was about knowing who walked beside you in the dark. You were never meant to do this alone. Heaven has already gone ahead of you. The path is set, the grace is ready, the promise is waiting. All that's missing is your movement. So breathe deeply and let go of everything that's been keeping you still. Forgive yourself for the delays. Release the guilt, the doubt, the fear of failing again. None of it defines you. You are defined by the call on your life, by the purpose heaven placed in your spirit long before you could even speak it. You are not late. You are right on time, but the time to act is now. Don't waste another sunrise waiting for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is the one you decide to move. After this message ends, something will shift. You'll feel it. The same voice that stirred you awake will start guiding your steps. You'll begin to see signs of alignment, doors opening, confirmations appearing, peace returning. That's how you'll know you've stepped into divine flow. From now on, walk with confidence. When fear speaks, answer it with faith. When doubt whispers, remind it that you've already decided. When opportunities appear, don't shrink, step forward. Because this time, you won't be walking alone. Heaven is with you in every breath, every risk, every leap. You've waited long. Enough. Now it's time to rise. Let the world feel your obedience. Let your courage echo as proof that faith still moves mountains. Let your next move be the one that shifts everything. This is your moment. Don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow begins with what you decide today. And if this message touched your soul, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss what heaven is trying to tell you next.